Hey, it's Pete. I'm sitting down with Marc.
That's me.
Dream Warriors 42.
On the road to 50.
Yeah, on the road to 50. And big conversation today. Han Solo. Look at the look on Marc's face. Let's hit that music. Let's get going. Let's do this. And we're back. It's 7:08 Saturday.
This was
night.
like, I wanted an emergency show on this one.
Yeah.
And you shot me down. I was like, listen, what is going on here? Wednesday. So Wednesday, 8:44 a.m.
Yeah, I feel like now
This is
you're making me guilty.
This is process. Okay, so we talked about in the last episode. We talked about our process and how we kind of build the show, and so something will kind of break. We'll have an idea for the show, and then something will break, and the show will move around essentially.
Yeah.
And then, like for example, the button took 3 episodes to do. We finally got to it last episode, which actually I got some feedback from that too. I got some good feedback from that, which is cool. I talked to one of my friends, listened to it, and they thought that our progression from 86 Crisis to 0 Hour to Infinite Crisis, like that was pretty spot on. So that was cool. That was completely unintentional, not written at all.
Real quick side note, the last episode, the solo episode, I kind of went on this tangent about like the value of viewing things black and white, and the value of that is Rorschach, or Rorschach, because Rorschach is like in shape. And he's like he's like the one sticking to truth, and the owl is fat and out of weight and jizzes as soon as he bangs a hot girl and like doesn't.
Are you talking about me and you?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm overweight.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking.
I was confused.
But I'm talking about like Watchmen, how like the deeper thread in Watchmen is like the value of like black and white, which is kind of like a view of that occurred to me as I was recording. Which is kind of funny because like the owl does kind of represent like sloppy thinking. Like he kind of like even physically he represents like a loss of values.
Yeah, it's everything being moved away. Like it's just everything is just numb. Everything is just like not. He can't feel anything. He's impotent.
I just love it that he blows a load when he touches Silk Spectre. Like I love you.
Or when a Leonard Cohen song is on. That's for the movie.
For the movie. Now, for me, Rob Zombie was always playing when he did that. But I was heavily into Rob Zombie when I really got into Watchmen.
You are the Astro creep.
Yeah. So here we go. So Marc's going to let's just set up like how we got to this. And you know what? Like real quick though, I'm kind of happy we did have a delayed Han Solo recording because I know additional stuff came out.
Yeah, a lot of stuff came out. So so we're going to kind of cover it front to back. Most people probably saw the surface level version. So the story came out Wednesday morning, essentially that 2 letters came out at the exact same time. Kathleen Kennedy put out a press release saying that, unfortunately, due to creative differences, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, directors, have been let go of the project. A couple hours later, Phil Lord and Chris Miller put out their own thing, and they said, hey, listen, we think that the cliche of saying creative differences is horrible. And these guys are funny guys, so they make a joke about it.
Yeah.
And say, but this is truly the case. We regret we're leaving the project. We wish them the best of luck. So nice, clean, professional. The Hollywood Reporter the next day, or even later that day, basically stated that they were straight up fired. They had a little break. They had 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
3 weeks left. So my thing to you, once I saw the news Wednesday morning, I was like, oh my God. Like,
yeah. Well, you were like
I
a lot
freaked out.
Yeah, because like for me, it's just like to me, this is like business as usual. In Hollywood, and like it's just business as usual. And to further that, I think with Disney's handling of, even though like I feel like Pixar's product changed and kind of degraded a little bit, they kind of lost that Pixar like flash. But the handling of Pixar, the other Star Wars movies, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that you kind of give what they view as their process the benefit of the doubt. And that's kind of like, so when I see news like that, that's just rolls like that rolls through my brain. And for me, it's still kind of like, well, it's like it's still a Star Wars movie, and I think they have like a position with tone. Like I kind of said that to you in that one text message.
Yep.
And they kind of know what they want to go for, which I feel is a good sign that they know what they want to go for, and they're willing to, like excommunicate the directors.
So I mean, okay. So my main thing is, and I think we talked about my theme earlier. So between me and you, you're a studio guy in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm an artist, a writer. I'm like, oh, and I love like the creative vision. This will kind of come through a little bit later on. I'm always, every time I'm on, I always have the thing where I'm like, hey, this book came out and it was written, drawn, edited, colored, blah, 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 distributed. The guy delivered it to your house. He just drew it on your front porch. Like, I love that bit of it. I love like the singular vision, even if it does not work.
Comes with chalk drawings on your driveway.
Even if it doesn't work, like I like things that don't work. The first episode I was on, I talked about that Louis C.K. series that completely did not work for most, and I find it to be the best. That's not even a failure to me. Like, it's not a failure to me. It's a failure into everyone's eyes.
Yeah. Well, like, you know what? I think there's like a little bit of that. So like here's what happened. So like two things in my opinion changed Hollywood. The geeks took over. Okay, like, like kind of the people who were film buffs, like the Tarantino generation, buddied with piracy. Okay, changed the business models for Hollywood. Okay, you can kind of argue for negative. Okay, and so like now it's kind of like I think people have lost touch with how some of the greatest movies of all time were made. And they were studio driven, they were producer driven, they were connection driven, they were bean counter driven projects, and that was it. Like there's like I think you and I could probably list them. I'm meaning like we can probably go back 100 years and list the people who got final cut in movies.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's a very short list.
That's like David Lynch. Like that's David Lynch. Some Scorsese sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not easy.
Pushback.
PTA. Paul Thomas Anderson.
PTA.
He didn't get it right away.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
He gets it. Because PTA didn't get it on Sydney, which is the Hard Eight. So like, he always talks about that. He's like, it's not the movie I want. Still, you know what I mean? And
I always saw Hard Eight was good.
It's very good. It's
like
very,
I thought that was a good movie, and then like I read an interview where he goes off on it.
He hates it,
and I'm kind of like, oh man, you're probably like a weird guy to hang out with.
Completely. Yeah, well, see, okay, so, but to me, you're saying that the bean counters and the big movies and blah, 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 but I always kind of go to that the restrictions on the big movies, like, make it great. Like, Jaws is great because the shark didn't work, and they had to rewrite the script every day, and that's what makes that great.
Yeah, but Jaws became a big movie. Jaws, like, still would have been like, hey, if this thing worked in
even Star Wars, everyone on set's like, oh, man, this probably ain't going to work. The first Star Wars, 77.
Yeah. Which I did say in our text message. I think that's how we ended it.
That's when I was like, you motherfucker.
I was like, sorry, man.
So it kind of goes,
New Hope.
Here's my flip out.
New Hope is not aging.
9 a.m. So this is my
was
9
it that
a.m.
early?
rage. It was 8:44.
It was 9 a.m.
It was 9 a.m. And I didn't even look. I was like, God, the news. I read the news like, what? I went crazy. So it was like Han Solo. Okay, so the deal is that Han Solo has been filming since February for 4 months.
Which I wasn't aware of that.
3 weeks left. They took a little break, which supposedly the break was somewhat planned, somewhat forced, but the break was supposed to be a week, and it's like it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, so then they basically stated that the directors are fired.
Yeah.
Now, here's where...
and real quick, can I interject real quick?
Mm-hmm.
These guys, these two gentlemen, were also connected to DC's Flash movie.
They wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wrote it and were attached to direct it. They left that because they got hired to do Han Solo.
Yeah.
Which, yes, you would quit the job to go do Han Solo. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, that movie, they are pretty much, so they did, let's go, like, their filmography. Phil Lord, Chris Miller. They did Clone High, which was a cartoon on MTV that Will Forte did some voices on.
Okay.
It's pretty good to go back and watch now. It's not great. It's a little bit off.
Yeah, I remember maybe seeing some still
They did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1, which is great.
Yes.
They couldn't do the second one because they were prepping Lego Movie.
Okay.
So the second one's not as good, but they wrote it and someone else directed it. Well, it's not quite as sharp.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Cloud Dance Meatballs is great. Lego movie should not work, right? That shouldn't work.
Yeah, it's
like
kind
Lego
of
movie.
no
I think it's great.
Lego movie is fantastic. I even I like the nod of like the '80s bookend, which was like live action, like with the Will Ferrell stuff.
Right.
And I thought like they kind of perfected what they were trying to do in the '80s, but or even the '90s, like Page Master and like even effectively Princess Bride and even Neverending Story, like these weird bookends that
the kid's reading the story, or someone's reading the story.
or something. But I thought there was like a real lesson.
It was a little
Lego
long.
movie.
I thought it was maybe like 2 minutes too long.
Yeah,
it was like 5 minutes long.
I walked away with that from a lesson. Like they were, and it was like a clear lesson.
One to grow on.
Yeah,
there's one to grow on, really.
And it was and it was kind of like the lesson you wanted to see in that. So I thought it had like a ton of heart, ton of foresight, and you know what, a little bit of correction, because you don't have the weird Columbo guy reading a story to Fred Savage.
Then we give that kid some soup. It's been all day. Seems starving.
Real quick, you want to see what's just popped up on my notifications? Red Letter Media uploaded Transformers: The Last Night review.
It's kind of late.
Right.
Late for them.
No.
Those are the ones we like those guys.
Yeah, but wait. But they uploaded one on Saturday that literally was like 20 minutes long, and they uploaded it late because I was still awake, and I'm like, yeah, and I think that girl just left, and I was like, okay. I'm like Red Letter, because I love Red Letter Media.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think they're the only reviewers on YouTube outside of Film Gob. He's the other guy you gotta watch.
Okay.
That are now attacking the Collider like monstrosity. Like they're actively attacking Collider. Okay, and they just point out how weird it is sometimes that these people say these things.
Well, Screen Junkies News is real fast, and they're doing a lot of like reaction live, or they're doing news breaks.
Yeah,
and they don't have their facts right when they go on air.
Yeah,
they just start talking, and I'm like, whoa.
Dude,
I hate that.
Yeah,
and I know we get some stuff wrong, but not a whole lot.
But dude, they even got someone did a compilation. We're so off track, real quick. But dude, someone did a compilation video of John Schlepp, the guy that did. Okay, dude, voicing his opinions of Man of Steel, and then his re-opinions on Man of Steel, and they put them together. And I'm always like, dude, you freaking sell out. Like you're just there to talk. Like you are just talking, and it's one platitude after the next. But anyway, so Red Letter Media uploaded this review, and I'm like, and I'm working on my own YouTube thing with this, and I'm like, I'm going to like download it. I'm using their clips. This is perfect. And dude, they got me, because it opens with these two guys who are not them. Like two other guys acting them, and they're doing like kung fu voiceovers, and then it goes dark, and it's dark for 18 minutes. They just uploaded a dark video, and I think it has like 250,000 views already. But dude, like they kind of do these like gotchas, which is like and they made these Collider ones where they make fun of the unboxings. And it's like a book bag full of like Star Wars stuff, and they put like stickers on things, like a Star Wars sticker on like Scotch tape, and it's like Star Wars Scotch tape. And then it cuts to them, and they're like, "That's really cool. That's really cool. That's useful." And they just say the same things that everyone else says, and they're like, "Dude, I love how they attack it, dude. Like it really is. That's the next wave of like conversation, and that's a little bit of like what Dream Warriors is too. Like we kind of attack the conventions.
I think that's good. Like we do digest. Like I wanted to do. It's funny. I wanted to do the video, do a podcast about like what we hate. So like we hate the immediate like reaction podcast.
Yes.
But but I mean, since episode was it 10, my first one, like. It's just in me, man. Star Wars is super in my blood, and I just like I don't even want this.
I didn't even know you were that connected to it until we had that thread. Yeah,
I don't want this project because it was post Rogue One. I talk about Rogue One for 2 hours. I think the first episode, something insane.
And you're not on board with Rogue One,
no? Right?
You're
overproduced. I'm still with it. It's overproduced.
Fucking, I love that movie.
It's fine.
I love that movie.
It's fine. And this is the problem I'm going to have with this, and this is the problem that I'll even go and we'll talk about like Ant-Man. The problem that I have with Ant-Man because I wanted to see what the Edgar Wright Ant-Man was going to be, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So I had to pick up the pieces and do it. Now my confusion with this and the stuff I read today on this, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, these guys were fired. Let go. They have 3 weeks left. Now they bring in Ron Howard.
Which is
Opie Cunningham.
Yeah.
Opie Cunningham, everybody.
But he's
That's the safest choice you can do. It's super fucking safe. Unfortunately, I don't want to see. I don't want to see a young Han Solo movie, but I would want to see it by those guys because those guys did Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street.
Yeah,
still great.
I love
you know what I mean. So they have nothing, and the Last Man on Earth, the pilot is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's one of the best comedy pilots ever.
I think you said that before.
So. The only thing that would attach me to this, and then they got the cast. They got Donald Glover. They got Emilia Clarke.
I think they got good people.
But they helped in that process to get that cast. So it's their concept of what they're going to do. I'm not sold on that guy, Eldon Ehrenreich, the guy who is Han Solo. Han Solo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I would have rather had the Baby Driver guy. I think that guy's better.
Yeah. Well,
fine.
I mean, you know what it is? Like, it's. Oh, I think we are losing. A little bit. Sorry, technical difficulties. Still going. Okay, we're good. No, but
it's all my anger that's teeming. It's breaking all the cords here.
It's searing everything from the inside.
Fire. I'm so mad.
It's like you're like the Vision in Age of Ultron. You're burning Ultron from the internet. And that's your Age of Ultron reference for 2017.
That was it.
But so like, is any of your So here's the thing. So you're unhappy with Rogue One.
All right. I was sold a different movie. To me, it's a bait and switch situation.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I still feel that way.
I'll tell you one thing. Something did occur to me, and this
just 57 shots that were in the trailers that weren't in the movie.
This popped into my head. So, I talked about like I'm going through like the Cinemax film catalog right now. And a lot of times, like when I'm kind of just like decompressing and I'm trying to find something to put on, I start a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. Like I'll just start them, and some of them don't make it through like the credits. Like it's coming up, and I'm just like, no, like something else. Okay.
you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is a YouTube world, baby.
Yeah, and
if that on a movie you get 5,
and something
YouTube you get 10 seconds.
Yeah, and something.
Yeah, it's too long. You're like, fuck it, I ain't watching.
Yeah,
this.
and I had people do that with Bad Eats that they got upset about the ads. I'm like, look, like that's
monetized, baby.
Yeah, but so like a lot of the initial movies I was watching on Cinemax that I was rolling through were ones that like I had like pre-hype for that I didn't see, like the Josh Trank Fantastic Four. Okay. And
Fan Four Stick,
yeah. Which is not in the title at the end of the movie. It's just Fantastic Four. So Fan Four Stick was strictly the poster.
Just poster.
Just the poster, yeah.
I still love calling it Fan Four Stick.
Yeah, everyone calls it that. and there like the Mummy Curse of the Dragon Emperor, which is the third Brendan Fraser
one.
Yeah, the Jet Li one. And like I vaguely remember even seeing that. Like I jumped on that. I jumped on like the Hulk, the Ed Norton Hulk movie.
How far off with that Mummy? That was like it was too late.
It was like 7 years, I think.
It was really late.
Yeah, because I think Mummy 2 was 2002.
Yeah,
and I want to say maybe it was 5 years. And I want to say the Dragon Emperor was 5 years.
So even if it was good, it didn't matter because it was too late.
But the thing is, like how you popped into my head.
7. You're right. 7 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Holy crap.
Yeah. The thing that like popped into my head though was like a lot of the movies I was turning off were movies that like again it'll just be like a title. I'm like, all right, like let me jump in on this, and like I kind of like would tune out real quick and have to jump like to something else, and the reason for this is because like I had no idea, like there was no hype for the movie. I had no idea what the movie was. Okay, and there was no like kind of like sometimes like you fill in the blanks of something, and you watch a movie and you want to see like if they come to fruition. Okay, and like, hey, is it going to turn out like this? Is it this? Is it that? Okay, and there's all of these like questions that come in through like the trailer. almost like the trailer culture that we're in now, like the trailer consumption. Okay. And it kind of like the way that you popped into my head was like the Rogue One argument, where I'm kind of like you kind of need, like, it just occurred to me that like you need that machine, like that trailer machine, because it's really hard to watch a movie when you're not hyped for it. Like it really is, because like, and I was like turning off like good movies, like I'm just kind of like, again, like just not able to focus because I didn't know what to expect. But you know, like, and I like it just made me like cognizant of like what like your Rogue One position is.
I just like I wanted to see the scenes that I thought were iconic. I'll not see. They don't hold the context for it. So I think it's weird. I mean, I know a lot of it do it now, and I think Marvel, the Russo brothers especially, they do kind of a weird thing where the Civil War trailers have a slightly popped up dialogue scene, meaning that, you know, when Tony says, "I want to punch you in your perfect teeth" to Cap, it's a different take in the movie. It's a slightly downplayed take because it made more sense in the day, and then the take in the trailer is almost like it's a trailer take. Now I'm okay with that because the line's still there, the scene's still there, the shot is exactly the same shot, but it's a little pumped and it's not an ADR thing. It's just it literally was a different take. So the Russos do 2 takes, which I think is they make, but they come from TV. They come from probably a ton of takes. They can do a ton of takes, and they can kind of do it. Now, to bring it back to Han Solo, I don't understand. So here's the problem: is that and I'm going to kind of play both sides on this argument. I'm going to argue with myself now for a second. They're leaving a project where they would have kind of pretty much creative control. Yes, like they could do the Flash, almost like Zack Snyder can do. Yeah. Like it's just like, hey, it's a Zack Snyder project. Even if it has other people like hanging out in it, like it's still Zack Snyder at the end of the day. You know, you want to grab
it? No, sorry, I'll call back when we're
done. So you have Chris Lord, you know, you have those guys, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They leave. They want to direct Han Solo. Now Han Solo is written by Lawrence Kasdan, grandfather of Star Wars. You know, he rewrote Empire. He wrote parts of Return.
Yeah, Kasdan is way more involved than
and
people give him credit for.
He helped co-write Force Awakens.
Yeah,
and that was where Abrams was like open to that. Abrams is basically kind of, he's more studio head. He's like he's been cooperative with studios for a long time.
Yeah,
these guys they can kind of do whatever they want because they've. Like 21 Jump Street shouldn't work.
Yeah.
And then it did. And they're like, oh wow. And then they're like, hey, Cloud Chance Meatballs. Well, we'll see. And then it worked. And they're like, well, okay, give them the Lego Movie. And they wrote it. Like to me, that there's so much shit going on in Lego Movie. It's unreal.
Yeah.
The amount of plots, the amount of characters, the amount of stuff going on.
It is. Yeah.
The songs, the movements, the comedy. So then they give these guys, they put them into a studio film. This is probably the first studio film. They've kind of been making their own like crazy independent films in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
But
the script is by Kasdan and his son.
Yeah.
So what were they allowed to do? I would think that they would be allowed to maybe do. Supposedly they've done alternate takes. They do. It's too funny.
Yeah.
The tone's off.
Yeah, but I think like some of it too is that all right. So like the studio sees like Marc's been battling a milkshake.
Not yet. I've had this for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. It's not a milkshake. Marc bought a Frosty thinking it was a milkshake.
Listen, it's Sunday. It's Chick-fil-A is closed. I want a Chick-fil-A milkshake. I'm on the way over. I'm like, I want a milkshake, but I want beer. So I don't really know what to do. So I want my milkshake, and then I'll let that settle, and then have a beer. But Chick-fil-A is closed, so I ran to Wendy's because that was like right there.
Yeah.
So I order it, and then the whole way here, I'm like, I can't even drink this. Why'd they give me a straw?
No,
they gave me a spoon.
Yeah, the tall plastic spoon.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just want to drink
Frosty. Yeah, they pride themselves.
It's just ice cream in a cup. What is it?
Yeah, it's custard. It's black and white.
It's not custard. That's
chocolate vanilla. Yeah,
it's like custard and like a quick freeze
or something. Yeah,
I hate it. I don't know. I've been trying to drink this for like 2 hours.
Well, yeah, you'll probably be drinking it. Probably by 9 o'clock tonight, you'll enjoy your milkshake.
All right. So does my argument make sense? Like are they able to even walk in to do this?
So like a little bit though, like maybe we can kind of like unpack the process. So you know, the studio decides Han Solo.
Young Han Solo.
If
no one knows this,
it's young. Yeah.
25 years old.
25-year-old Han Solo. They go on a search. They begin gestating ideas. I think the ideas are coming from what they have. The ideas are coming via studio, right?
It's all Kasdan. It's all Kasdan and his son.
So they have they already have like an outline. They have a sketch. They already have visualized how this movie's going to turn out when it comes to filming it.
Mm-hmm.
These guys they work on the Flash. They supposedly good script.
Those would be great script.
Yeah. And they kind of I don't know, screw people over, and they go for the low hanging fruit, Star Wars. And
well, who wouldn't want to work on Star Wars? I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to go do Star Wars.
Hey, you know
Gives
what?
me a shot. Play in the sandbox.
Hey, principles. That's all I'm saying. Principles. So here's the thing. So they engage in the process. Who knows? Like, they may have mishandled the initial conversations. They may have been like, oh yeah, we'll do it like that. Yeah. You know what? Good one, Kasdan. Yeah, look at that concept artwork that's already here. Yeah, well, like, okay. Can we get approval on like who we're like making this movie with? And the studio's like, yeah, like that's kind of like all we wanted you to do. And they're like, okay. And then the door shuts, and these two guys are potentially like, look, we're going to have to like do some of this our way, and we're just going to have to do it. But it's going to be, and they sit down and they jizz all over one another, and they're like, this is going to be incredible. This is going to be awesome. What, like, the Kessel Run? We're going to see who we learned the Kessel Run from. We're going to see, like him,
origin of
like
his vest. The origin of the vest.
Yeah, we're going to see Lando Calrissian go rounders on this.
Yeah. Isn't that the argument of like, was it the Indy 3? Had like the origin of everything. It was like, look, he hates snakes because of this.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like, look at this. He gets his whip from that guy.
And they for that they thought it was took away from the real story, which was him and his father.
Right.
Like, and they chose wisely to quote that movie. Mm-hmm. They chose wisely.
Very good.
Here you go.
Hey.
Okay, so these, from my perspective, okay, and you know more about this than me, I think it's very clear that for probably a couple weeks now, maybe 2-3 weeks, the studio knew like the wave. They knew the tone. This wave was like crawling above the beach before it crashed down. They needed someone. Ron Howard. Ron Howard can come save the day. Ron Howard's like, look, I am a studio director. You know, like I've kind of made my own movies, but I'm in large a studio director.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, this is what we need. This is what we need. And Ron Howard's like, I will do that. So these guys, might have, look, they might have went to the prom too early. They might have been overstepping.
That's
like some of the
I
boundaries.
almost feel that's the way that most of these guys get it. Like that's like Trevorrow went from Safety Not Guaranteed to Jurassic World. What now? And then he does Book. I want to see Book of Henry because it's so poorly reviewed.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that.
That movie looked interesting.
Yeah, but it's tonally all over the place. But I kind of want to see it because of that.
I'm all for seeing that movie.
Yeah, we should see that, and then we'll be like, "What the fuck was this?"
It's like a mind for like
what the hell? We'll do a couple post movie. Yeah. So I get your train of thought. Like I understand.
Yeah, like and that's just. But you know what? Look, we were talking about this a little earlier too. Like something like Blade Runner. Like, all right. So in my view, like Blade Runner is a complete mess of a movie. People want to put this thing up high. But the movie,
Tron, like the Tron movie.
Yeah, like Tron's a mess. like you watch the original.
Let's watch the Black Hole. That's a gem.
Yeah, like with the BB-8 before there was a BB-8. that little bucket with the googly eyeballs.
Yep, I had him as a action figure. Yeah. So like legs went out. It was great.
And it's like I view Blade Runner, and Blade Runner is now this benchmark. But that movie, like, I was even like, look, there's only one version of that movie I've ever seen. I refuse
The
to.
narration one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the black cover. I call it the black cover because it was a black VHS. Okay, and it's not the I forget the artist for it. I think it's a it's a John Alvin cover.
Okay.
That's the poster artist. Okay, and Alvin is the signature in the one of the buildings because he would sneak it in because he wasn't getting credit. It's like idiot. We're paying you to do something.
Right.
Who cares about the credit? You got paid for this. But anyway, no. But the thing is, though, like to me, it's like when you watch Blade Runner enough times, you easily see like where the studio would have to be like, what are we like? What is this? What are we doing here?
What are we making here?
Yeah, like this thing needs a point. It needs an arc.
That's why narration was in there, because no one knew.
Yeah, like
scene to scene exactly what was going on.
Like we kind of need can we make a movie and not confuse the shit out of people?
How many Berlins are there? The Berlin, the Terragillium.
Oh, at least 3.
There's like at least 3 or 4.
I think the Criterion for that. The Criterion was their first like box set.
Yeah, but the director's cut is not good. The studio cut's good.
Yeah, I make the same argument with the director's cut of like Aliens versus
Yeah,
because,
I agree with that.
Yeah, because like they destroy the time frame of the incubation because people like would knock Aliens versus Predator. They're saying the incubation's too early in that movie. Like it took weeks or whatever for for Alien. They were in there for days.
You only have 2 hours.
Yeah, but the thing is though, but the thing in Aliens, when they haul in Newt's father when he has the face hugger.
Yeah.
Okay, the time frame from her hitting that and to when they did like the distress signal when they lost signal was only like 2 or 3 weeks, and you're like, yo, like how did they do the queen, the eggs? Like the apocalypse, like how did all this happen in like 2 weeks? Like what the hell? And it destroys that. This place went dark for a while, right. And then they found out it was dark, and then they were like, hey, we have to send like some power in there, and it destroys the whole mystique of like the decision to send in the Marines. But anyway, so like I'm kind of with you. Like a lot of these directors, I will adamantly say this. We're back to Ridley Scott. The only director's cut that really mattered that I ever saw was Kingdom of Heaven.
I never saw the director's cut.
Okay, that director's cut.
What about the Abyss director's cut?
No, like I could do without.
It's like 25 minutes.
Yeah, I can do. I forget the subplot for that. I think the subplot was a Russian submarine.
They were gonna do a tidal wave.
Yeah, the tidal wave. I'm like, I remember that when that VHS came out. That was like hot sauce because I was like a part of like the Fox Select with the burgundy like stripes. Okay,
right.
And that came out, and that was like, yo, like mother effer, like here it is. Like it is it's like because it was like bootleg and like rumored up until that point, and it's like here it is. And I remember watching that, and I'm just like, I remember seeing still images in like Premiere Magazine or like Cinema Scene or something, and of the crest, and then it was like just waiting for that moment, and then being like, I kind of like the other one was
what's in my mind is better,
like kind of like better, and it's kind of like silly that like what's the point if they because like you know what it is. It's a personal story, like The Abyss is personal. That ending when they suck back the tidal wave, because that's they manipulate water.
Right.
For anyone that doesn't know, obscure
spoilers on a 1989 film. I think it is 89.
Anyone that's into science fiction underwater adventures involving aliens. Okay, no, it's like when they suck that tidal wave back, you're almost like they're on the world stage. And it's a different emotion that you have at that point. Like that movie peaks your emotions, especially when like people start dying and they're bringing people back to life.
Watch that again. I think that's interesting.
It's a hell of a movie. It's a hell of a movie. But anyway, so let's get back Han Solo talk.
All right. So to me, it's about schedules. Okay, you have 3 weeks left of this movie, and what are they allowed to do? Now we all know that Tony Gilroy got $7 million to come in and basically reshoot the last third or so. Gareth Edwards did not direct the scene. I think an AD directed the scene with the Darth Vader scene that everyone loves. Yeah. Gareth Edwards did not direct that at all. That was tacked on Pretty much the whole sequence of her up in the tower, all of it. There's no running across the beach. That's all Gareth Edwards did. That's all gone. And Tony Gilroy got $7 million to write and direct that. Now Gareth Edwards has done a very good job. He's done an amazing job not being mad and being very good in every interview.
Yeah,
okay?
he's. But then again, but here's the thing: why should he be mad? You got paid to do something,
right?
And you did it.
So I almost feel that. But remember, he did Monsters, Godzilla, Star Wars, Rogue One. Okay.
Yeah.
These guys did their own cartoon with a budget that no one for MTV, complete creative control. They did their own. I'm sure they had some studio thing with Cloudy, but pretty much the script was so good it just was a perfect fun movie. Then they get to go do 21. Then they do Lego. Then they do 22.
Yeah.
You can't give. I don't think you can put these guys back in the box. They're out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it.
I mean,
if they wrote it and directed it, I could see that they should bring them on. But they in another way they agreed to do this script.
Yeah.
And the problems that I've heard are tone. And
which
there's too many takes.
Yeah, which I told
you. It's expensive, and they're going too long, and there's a couple things going on. Now when I go back to schedules, is that okay? Now we have Emilia Clarke who has to go shoot Game of Thrones. Yes, we have Alden Ehrenreich's probably got to do some other weird. I don't know who knows. Who knows what that guy's doing? Donald Glover has to shoot Atlanta. Woody Harrelson's in every movie every week.
Yeah,
right?
he's
in every movie.
He's become he's back to becoming the everything character actor, right? Like he's.
Yeah, he's a military. He's Wilson, who is a perverted Southern Dan Clowes cartoon. Okay, right? Then he's then he's going to be in this. He's
8-Ball reference. People,
he's in.
We just had an 8-Ball reference.
He's going to be in a movie that he's the dad of Brie Larson. That looks heartbreaking. Where he's kind of a shitty dad.
Oh,
and I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, oh god,
dude, I loved him in the Furnace movie, the Out of the Furnace.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Dude, his character in that, he's so hard. He's like this small time criminal.
I think is where people were kind of like, hey, this is Woody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But Woody's always been the best character. I think he's always been the best character actor in Hollywood.
He's great in Larry Flint.
I remember when I was a kid, seeing him on Cheers. And realizing when he starts showing up in movies like Natural Born Killers, that he's an actor. He's not that guy in Cheers. And that was one of the first times I realized that. I'm like, that's how it works.
I always I had a weird urban legend with Cheers, is that I always thought that Woody Harrelson sung the theme song, even though I knew that was way before him. But his voice was kind of like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, I think that he sings the theme song. And I was like, no, later on in life, I'm like, is that not a thing? Oh, okay.
I think the ghost of Coach sings the theme song.
I'm trying to think. It's Woody Harrelson's pretty much great. He's great in Indecent Proposal is really good. He's been that's a long filmography.
Yeah, and he kind of had a little bit of a break, and he kind of came back, and he's almost like a go-to guy for these bigger movies now, and he's okay not getting the
and in the world he technically is not like a Robert Downey Jr. size risk, but he's an openly super open pothead, very hemp. Super open.
Yeah, he's done videos and
he
did
a
on
live
campaigns.
show. I want to watch the live thing he did a couple months ago.
I think I saw some of that.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be very good. He did a one-man show where he talked about a night in Paris where he got caught with drugs, arrested, and got bailed out by a couple of famous people that were there, and they show up. I think Owen Wilson shows up,
That's awesome.
bails him out of jail. Yeah. So, but you're right. I think it's something where he could have been he could have stayed in one stereotype, but now he's going to be out in 2 weeks. He's going to be in War Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. So can we talk about that real quick?
No.
Okay.
No, just because I want to finish my schedule talk.
Yeah. Go.
So the whole thing is that there's 2 weeks left of filming. How is Ron Howard going to make a movie? And what are they allowed to use?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I read this morning was about Directors Guild rules.
Directors Guild.
So the DGA ruling is this, and I know that basically they can manipulate probably these contracts. I'm sure there's no dummies, but essentially if they release this film and 90% of the film that's released,
they'll have to get
is shot are scenes that are legitimately shot by Lord and Miller, that they are allowed to release their own director's cut any way they want. They're allowed to basically use studio money, create a director's cut, and release it.
Okay.
Now, there also is a ruling what you're thinking of. Your mindset was well, who gets director's credit?
Yeah.
how's this going to work?
So
my argument on schedules. Let me just say on this is that everyone's got to go to their next job. This isn't something like, hold on, Atlanta. The cast and crew of my television show on FX. I'm Donald Glover. I have to keep shooting this movie.
Hollywood stops because Han Solo needs to finish.
You can't do it. And what happens is that there's different things in place, and there's insurance bonds, and things will cost a lot. This is going to cost people a lot of money.
Yeah.
This could cost, who knows? Now they've already spent so much money on this film already, but can you imagine that Disney has to like put up for everyone and delay everyone's schedule?
So
that's gotta be millions.
So here's a little bit of how I think that's going to play out. Okay, I think that these two guys are going to get full credit. Okay, and Ron Howard will not be he will not be credited. Okay,
well, they can put him as a first or second director.
Yeah.
They can put him as a first unit, second unit, some type of unit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but he won't be like this is like the Ron Howard Star Wars or anything. I think he's doing this to make a play for his own Star Wars movie. He's coming in to help them, and he knows that there's going to be something on the back end or something else with Disney on the back end. I think he's because you know what it is. He's kind of like in a Spielberg position, where they kind of need a pop, they need something and they need a studio to back them up. And this is his way of getting a studio to really back up something he wants to do. Because the Dark Tower, that was supposed to be his mega franchise,
right.
And TV series, multiple movies, it was all lined up. I guess that would have been I think they looked like it's really weird because between the Mist television show, this and it seems like they're doing the Kingverse, the Stephen King creature universe, and which in a way it would be exactly the Dark Universe that Universal's doing, but it's kind of funny but it seems like there was some wave and multiple people in production companies and studios decided to have this take on Stephen King material because of the source of the material, basically.
Well, it's loosely connected. They also have that. This is going to be kind of hard too, is because the Fat Man on Batman guy, Marc Bernardin, he's on the writers' room for the show that's going to be on. I think I don't know if it's. I think it's Showtime.
Okay.
I don't know. Someone has a show called Castle. Is it Castle Rock? If you want to check me out, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're doing a shared universe, Stephen King-averse in Maine, and it's the Overlook Motel plus
Castle Rock now in
Castle
production.
Rock?
Yeah. Hulu. It's going to be a Hulu show. J.J. Abrams, executive producer.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does. But he even executive produces Westworld. I don't feel like his hands in that necessarily.
Yeah.
Right?
No. But you know what he is? He's a picker and a chooser. And he's always been that. He's always been over
I think it's fine.
he's
even
always
with Lost,
been.
He's I'm doing this and then I'm out. You know what I mean? And then it was this is my guy. And I'm out. And it's funny because what's kind of interesting with that is he can never get any stink on him. So if anything goes rough, he's I already left. He never says it, but they're well. And then people are gonna be everything went to shit right after that pilot episode, and that could be true. That's technically true. Lord Miller, they directed a Brooklyn Nine-Nine pilot. So. So there's certain things.
I've seen a little bit of that show. I'd like that show.
But see, anyone that does a pilot does Brian Singer did House. I think he did the House.
Yeah,
so
and he's still
whoever
credited
does that.
as
whoever does the pilot pretty much moves and set the tone for the most part. The most part. I'm watching American Gods, and that was David Slade, and other people are directing it now, but it's pretty much looks like a David Slade directed.
Yeah.
I'm watching Twin Peaks. Well, actually, that's only David Lynch, but it's David Lynch.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know how they're going to do this. And my other thing too is that and a side-by-side picture that I showed my girlfriend, I'm look at this. Look at these two young hip guys doing a young hip movie about Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
25-year-old Han Solo. And then you look at Ron Howard, it looks like he's dying. He's the old
he does the crypt keeper.
He's skinny, he's never gained weight. Opie Cunningham.
Yeah.
But the thing is just think about it. Okay, so he made did he use Cars? I'm trying so let's go through
Ron Howard's filmography?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
I have a
I can bring it up.
So and it pretty much just goes. Now I'd say the best. I'd go Apollo 13 best. But if you go, Here we go. So
Okay, yeah. Look, so here, let's. You want to just start with?
Splash.
Yeah, hold up here. Let me go with. I'm trying to find his directing. I'm getting his movies.
Oh, okay. Producer too.
Yeah. As director, hold up here. Here you go. This stuff's so freaking complicated sometimes. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I gotta pull up soon. Short. Grand Theft Auto. Cotton Candy. Skyward. Time Crystal. Night Shift. Night Shift was his big.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Is it Keaton?
Yeah. Is it Keaton? I thought Keaton was. Yeah. Keaton, and then Tom Cruise was Bachelor Party. Those were like the two.
Keaton and Winkler. Shelley Long. Night Shift. All right, so that's got a 6.5. Then you go Splash. Great. Cocoon. Great.
Yeah.
It's Brian Denny Cable in that. And you got Brian Denny pulling his eye down like Cable.
Yeah.
Gung Ho. That's your favorite.
Yeah, I love Gung Ho.
Gung Ho is very good. Now, my girl was all about Willow. Yeah. I don't love Willow.
Yeah,
Willow, I don't, like it's so safe and just kind of meh.
Yeah, Willow like has moments like, but it's more like it's like the Willow is like the '80s special effect movie, meaning that hey, wouldn't it be cool like if we did this and we did a transformation and we did a giant dragon but Willow like I guess suffered from not having a strong mythology. Mm-hmm. Like I would really say that, yeah.
I don't know. It's no good. So Parenthood, okay, good balancing, good comedy, dramedy.
Yeah. Parenthood's good.
Backdraft's I think very good.
Dude, growing up, Backdraft was one of the must-have VHSs.
Yeah, that's really good. Kurt Russell, Billy Baldwin, Alan Sutherland, De Niro. Really good arson scene in that, like where he does the investigation arson.
Yeah, there was
where it all falls apart.
The sound design for Backdraft.
And your favorite, Tom Cruise broke his career. Ready? Far and Away.
Yeah,
no good.
That is a largely.
That is a chore.
No, that I'd like that. I always like Far and Away because you know what it is. I'm drawn to stories of people coming from nothing, and I think that movie is historically accurate. It's largely accurate with the Oklahoma land race, and it's one of a few movies that kind of highlight how hard it was for Irish immigrants to assimilate into this country. So, yeah.
All right, so every movie I've reviewed, every movie that's on IMDb here has a 6.5, so which is just a little bit above average. Yeah. Then it goes to The Paper, which is hardly seen. Yeah, good movie.
That movie has good pace.
Yeah, it's
Michael Keaton.
It's the '90s Spotlight. You know, it was before it got too dry.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Apollo 13, arguably the best. That gives a 7.6 on IMDb. I give that like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, and I agree with that at 8.
Then we have Ransom.
Ransom, I think. Well, I think the paper flopped terribly. Apollo 13 is great, nominated. I don't think it won anything. Ransom.
Apollo 13 was. People thought that was going to be Tom Hanks' third straight Oscar.
Right. I think Ransom's like it actually gets darker. That's where you see crazy Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but Ransom doesn't deliver in the end. No, it has an amazing march, but it kind of pushes out.
That was the same year. That was where you had the
same as Truman Show.
Right, but that TV flopped. No one cared. Some say that you ever see the memes online where it shows like that's True Detective like year 0.
That's also
it's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson like together. All right, now the Grinch. The Grinch is very polarizing. I hate this movie.
I like it.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like. It's fun.
If there was a meltdown, I wish I had on tape. Apparently, there was a time where Jim Carrey flipped out, ripped the suit off, and went like completely insane and like almost quit.
Yeah, because he said that
he
suit
couldn't
was
see,
just suffocating,
and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Beautiful Mind. I read the book before this movie, so I actually hate this movie.
Oh wow!
Because this guy's a dick, and they make him like a real good. Like,
they kind of and
he's a terrible person. So.
The next one I'm not. I've never seen The Missing.
It's a solid 6.5 on the.
That's the Kate Blanchett movie.
Yeah,
with Giovanni Ribisi's in that.
Yeah,
probably your second greatest Hollywood character actor today.
Second greatest. He's the best in Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow. That's my favorite. Or when he's explaining how to get unobtainium and Avatar, which has got to be the best. And there is something in. Is it in Transformers? I'm trying to. There's something recently where it had like the most unclever name for a mineral or something like that, and I was like, oh no, that's almost as clever as unobtainium. Now here's where I get a little funny.
But here
with the Ron Howard.
But quick side note: unobtainium is a scientific term. It's a scientific.
Or I can't find this metal.
Well, no.
So we need to kill all these blue people.
Unobtainium is a scientific term for precious minerals. Like it's out of a textbook.
You can say anything.
You could.
I think there's just weird laziness in Avatar. I'm like, you have the most beautiful movie. You just have weird laziness.
What's that precious thing called? Lizzy Stufflepuff.
Just anything.
Better than unobtainium.
But this is where I think he gets super, super average, and I think it comes down to Cinderella Man. I never even seen it. It looked real boring to me. It was very toned, and I'm trying to think what was around that seemed like I don't need another box movie. I don't need Russell Crowe doing shit. So
no, I like Cinderella Man.
Da Vinci Code. This is where I think studio.
Well, at this point, he's won the Oscar. He has become one of the few child actors to become a Hollywood player. Him and who's his producing partner? Ryan. Oh crap! Hold up. Brian Grazer.
Right.
Okay, him and Brian Grazer with
hair.
Him and Brian Grazer with Imagine Entertainment have created a Hollywood institution. So by the time he gets to Da Vinci Code, okay, there is little for him to do right now. He has done it all, I believe. Okay, but Da Vinci Code, whatever. Like it's a studio movie, makes money, right? People love that story. People just love that movie. And then we have Oscar bait. Frost Nixon.
So he did one. Yeah, he did win. He won for A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
I like Frost Nixon because it's very minimal. Those are my little movies. Those are the little things I like.
It's a 6 Angry Men. Or 12 Angry Men.
Right? It's 2 Angry Men. Yeah, you just keep dividing by 2 until you get the movie.
What's the sequel to 6 Angry Men? 12 Angry Men. What's the sequel to that? 18 Angry Men. or 24 Angry Men.
Just keep dividing it by 2, and then we'll get to the movie we need. Just do it. Brian Grazer, do it.
Okay.
Like out your hair.
And then we have Money Grab or something, right? Angels and Demons. I never even saw Angels and Demons.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have The Dilemma. What is this? Wait, hold up. What is the Dilemma?
This, I think.
Oh,
this is screwy.
What's the story for this one?
These are the movies
I like. These are the movies I like.
This is a fucked up movie. Now, I didn't see it. It's a 5.3. But apparently, I think that it's a Vince Vaughn.
I think I did see. I saw this. I had no idea it was a Ron Howard movie.
But it's a dark. It's almost like he got hired at the last minute. So this is basically it's a Kevin James vehicle with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
and they're both like way out of their prime. And one of their wives is about to have an affair. So and then I don't know. What does it say? Yeah,
dude, I completely forgot this movie. Yeah, it's a product development type thing, and
a man finds out what you don't say to a friend is just as important. What you do say is the story is how far you can bend a burly bond before it snaps. Since college, confirmed bachelor Ronnie, Vince Vaughn, and happily married Nick, Kevin James have been going through the thick and thin. They're ragtag. Where's that? There's no ragtag here. Now the partners, there's partners in an auto design firm because that's the thing. The two pals are vying to land a dream project that would launch their company. Ronnie's girlfriend,
which
Beth,
is like green cars.
Jennifer Connelly, and Nick's wife, Winona Ryder, are by their sides. But Ronnie's world is turned upside down when he inadvertently sees Geneva, Winona Ryder, out with another man. Makes it his mission to get answers. And then hijinks ensue. I don't know.
Yeah. So
the short one is a man discovers his best friend wife is having an affair.
Yeah.
What a hilarious plot. Looks so funny.
Yeah. Well,
and it's billed as a comedy.
No,
it's billed
you know what that movie is?
What the what?
You know what you're reading. You know what you're going through right now.
$70 million. This movie costs.
You're going through a movie that meant to take you to school and educate you on electronic cars and how great electronic vehicles were. And while the industry was hemorrhaging money lost on going green with vehicles, which is kind of like a contradiction. But this movie is a political statement, which is why it's horrible, because it has no footing. But anyway, so and then I guess I think the next one is Overlooked, which is Rush.
I never saw it.
I liked Rush.
But to me, I felt like every scene I saw, I only saw the clips, so I never saw it. It seemed like everything was in like a weird like lighting situation.
Yeah,
it was kind of. It all looked fake. It was all super color graded.
It was like a Spectrum lens flare.
Right,
almost.
and it was with Thor and Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Thor versus Baron Zemo in a Formula One race.
I like movies like Rush. I like kind of like competition movies, and I like anything involving like sport. But
and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I thought Rush was pretty good. I mean, Rush is definitely better than Driven, the Rennie Harlan versus Saloon vehicle. Like if you're going through like modern day car race, and then like I guess like the 3 modern day big car racing movies we had is Days of Thunder, Driven, and Rush, and that's
Days of Thunder is great. Days of Thunder is Tony Scott.
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott.
Yeah, with the incredible theme, like the theme score for that is Hans Zimmer, which is
early
it's
pre
piano.
bong bong. Hans
Yeah,
Zimmer.
dude, it's so freaking strong, dude. It's such a strong theme.
Yeah, you were saying you just listened to that, right? You
Yeah,
work on it.
I just listened to that. Then we have Made in America, came out same year.
I don't even know what that is. Is it a documentary?
No, it looks like a documentary.
It's a documentary.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is the Jay-Z tour. They shot this in Philly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's just a concert.
So is that like?
That's barely anything.
So Martin Scorsese does The Last Waltz, and now Ron Howard does Made in America.
He's like, I'm gonna do.
And Woody Allen does his blues documentary,
Yep.
and there you go. Okay, I guess
That's where your career ends, and then you just keep making movies.
Well, that's what I mean. Like when you've done what he done by the time he made the Oscar, like what you like you kind of lose your juice.
Well, he edited like the Beatles one that's up there, the Beatles 8 Days a Week last year.
Yeah.
He just re-edited that. That's not him, and he did some. Like he didn't really do that.
Yo, the next one is on my Cinemax playlist.
Yeah, we should watch that. I'd be kind of into that.
Dude, what is this movie?
How did this fail?
It's
kind of confusing. Yes.
How did it fail?
It's Thor and he's playing the guy from Moby Dick.
Name me one movie that has that setting that is not Pirates of the Caribbean that people care. People don't like that setting. Master Commander, Peter Weir, Russell Crowe.
I know.
Incredible movie. Incredible movie. Everyone says how okay. Only film buffs have seen that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see Heart of the Ocean.
Got a 7.
Yeah.
In the Heart of the Sea. So this is Thor, and let's see, it's Thor, Mad-Eyed Moody, and Scarecrow. It's Cillian Murphy and Brendan Gleeson. Mm-hmm. So I wrote you this last week. So I'm going to start making movie posters with these movies.
That's
a pretty good idea. Yeah. So every time I see any trailer, because I've seen every movie, whenever I see any trailer, and it actually first occurred to me when The Prestige was coming out, because I was like, oh my God, look, there's Wolverine. And there's Batman, and there's David Bowie. Like I was like, and there's Ziggy Stardust. Like, what's going on here? So like, and then later on, Kong Skull Island would be a perfect one to make because I'm like, oh, there's Steve Brule. Like I would just do the ones, not even the ones that they're famous for, just the ones that I like the most. You know what I mean? Because I'm drawing it. You know what I mean? Like I just want to do the ones that I like the most.
Right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't do like Step Brothers. Like I wouldn't make it obvious like the John C. Reilly. I would do Steve Brule. Like you know what I mean? I would do the other one. But then if you go back to Prestige, you have Black Widow. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But there's so many people in Prestige. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Or wait, what were we talking about?
I was saying that I would do Harry Brown, Michael Caine, which no one would do that except me. So that makes no sense. All right. In the Heart of the Sea. So my point is, okay. So the point of this very long exercise, it probably took way too long.
I'm going to look into Heart of the Sea. I want to see how much money that movie lost.
But like, you're going to give this guy
that lost money. It lost like $7 million.
70 million?
7. That's a lot of money. It's $100 million movie. It only made 94.
But that means it cost 200. Well, they did. I don't know. They always say that the marketing is double, but
or the marketing. I thought the marketing was one half.
No, the whatever it is, like the marketing. I thought the marketing was you times that by 2.
Oh, maybe. Oh,
but with that, I can't imagine that the marketing was twice that. No one knew what was coming out.
Chris Hemsworth as Owen Chase, the first mate. I'm just reading right off of Wikipedia here. Benjamin Walker as Captain George Pollard Jr. Cillian Murphy as Matthew Joy, the second mate.
Wait,
Tom Holland
this
as
is
young
the story.
Thomas Nickerson, the cabin boy.
This is it should have been Cabin Boy. It should have been Chris Elliott Cabin Boy.
Yeah, it should have been Cabin Boy 2, the return.
That's the only David
I
Letterman
love
appearance.
Cabin Boy.
I saw Cabin Boy in the movies at the Deptford Six.
Oh, wait. Okay, real side note. Do you remember David Letterman's line? Film buff zone here.
Oh, no. It's one line. Something about his shoes or something?
Would you like to buy a monkey? Would you like to buy a monkey? He's got a little, like, sock monkey with him.
Oh, how great was that movie? See, that was a singular vision. It could have been massive. It was like, I go back to it, man. Singular vision.
What was his Get a Life? Awesome TV show.
Get a Life, fantastic.
God damn, I love Get a Life.
With, what was his name? Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so my point is that you're going to give this guy, this is super, super safe. And I don't think of him, when I think of him, I don't think of him as a talent like that can he's just going to deliver.
Right, he's going to deliver.
He's going to it's so fucking safe.
He doesn't, I'm not saying he's not this, but he does not come off as visionary, visual, spectacle. But safe is what they might need.
You missed the last one. What was the last one? They had what was the last? The Da Vinci Code just came out last year.
Yeah,
that was a big shit. It didn't. It's like stop making these movies with the Tom Hanks mullet. Just fucking no.
It's Tom Hanks mullet.
Like the first one, but I think the first
Inferno.
one it was so
Inferno.
Who cares? Like no one cares. It doesn't matter. But it's a solid 6.9. Like you know what I mean? Like
hey, Inferno budget $75 million, box office. This is just going off of Wikipedia, 220.
Well, that's why. You know what I mean? It's a quiet, but again, it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't move the needle.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Inferno is a 2016 American mystery thriller film directed by Ron Howard and written by David Coep, based on the 2013 novel by the same name by Dan Brown.
Dan Brown cashing in it, the Da Vinci Code again and again and again.
The film is a sequel to the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons,
which you forgot about.
The third installment of the I guess so. Yeah, Robert Langdon film series.
Yeah,
I guess his character now has like a film series. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's a Da Vinci Code guy.
Yeah, and it's got Felicity Jones in it though. She's cute. I like her.
Jin Erso.
She's cute. Yeah, I like it. She's
got
that
with her tooth thing. With her, you know,
that overbite.
Don't
sexy.
Get it fixed.
That overbite. Sexy. Yeah.
It's going great.
So real quick. So
it's my whole point is it's not going to move the needle. It makes me crazy. I don't know how it's going to happen. And I don't know how it's going to make next May release date.
No,
It's crazy to me.
With this, I do have faith that they
3 weeks, bro. You got 3 weeks to do it.
I have faith that they know what needs to get done. I really do. Now, I think this is potentially damaging to the original Helmers, these two guys. I think it's damaging because it's one of those things where it's different when if they got kicked off of Flash, it's like a sinking ship, and even at that time, it's just this is pre Wonder Woman. It's kind of like all right.
The Flash went through. They left.
Are they They're not filming that yet, are they?
No, they lost Billy Crudup. They're losing people from that production because they can't keep their schedule, and they're probably gonna have to pay some type of extension at least on that guy because you can't replace whatever Flash is, whoever the fuck that guy is. But they lost Billy Crudup as Barry Allen's dad, so he's gone.
Yeah,
like that was a good casting. He's gone. He's great. He's good.
Yeah, no,
he's always solid.
Yeah, they seem like they had a good movie ready to go.
They had an Iris West. She's gone.
Yeah,
that Iris. So it's pretty much him and a script.
So,
but then we heard. I think on earlier episodes we talked about how they were going to throw the script out, and because they lost the second director who directed Dope, which was great. Ken Noogie, whatever.
Yeah, Dope's great. Yeah,
Dope's great. So he left.
But
I wonder.
Butts in that.
I wonder if they can flip it back, and then they'll be like, "Here you go," and then like if Warner Bros. is going to be like, "Hey, open arms, do your thing."
And then, because I almost feel like that's what they did with Whedon. So Whedon is supposedly still doing very extensive reshoots on Justice League.
I think he's going through everything with that. Like I think he's going to helm, right?
But they're not going to give him. They'll give him. I don't know what's up. This is very interesting. These are two gigantic films.
Yeah.
Now the circumstances there were different because Zack Snyder was in post production and he was editing it, and his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, we covered this. Committed suicide.
Yeah.
So, and he couldn't. He was trying to throw himself back into work. He realized that he couldn't, and he stepped away.
Yeah.
So this is this is a completely different circumstance with someone else
Right.
on a ridiculously high profile. Those are the two biggest movies. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Justice League has Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, and then a Star Wars solo movie. Those are two of the biggest films you can possibly
real
make.
quick though. So what do you think? Like, see, part of like Norm was here yesterday. We were hanging out, and we I was asking him if he was following it, and he kind of said nothing, and then he kind of like mumbled and said something about like money grab, like the Han Solo is like a money grab, and I'm kind of like, well, like it's hard to take that position because like if that's like from a studio standpoint, if the studio's like doing what you and I are doing right now, we're sitting across the table from one another, and people are talking about what to do. Like we got to do something with this. The money grab would be a Boba Fett movie. The money grab would be a Darth Vader movie. The money grab would not be a young Han Solo movie that no one wanted. So with that, with them choosing to do this movie, I'm kind of like they have to have a position. They have to have a take. They have to. Much of the movie by now would have to be pre-visualized. Like and they know this is a good idea because and they kind of have like inside the studio like proof of that.
I think they showed like when Rogue One and Celebration they showed like a previs.
Yeah,
it was all just concept art and they just like moved it like flash animation almost.
Yeah,
but you got the idea. But I think in a way I don't think he's wrong because it's like what is going to make more money? Rogue One, which is like a bunch of ragtag group. I love my ragtag. So like, but the whole thing is like but with that, I mean, is that a hard seller? Like, it's more of a hard sell. It's like, did I ever want to see that movie? I don't know. Did I like it? Yeah, I did, but because I didn't expect certain things out of it.
Yeah.
I walk in with a completely different expectation when I see a Han Solo film.
Yeah, that's because like Rogue One came up through the studio, right? Like the guy that wrote it created Photoshop.
He was one of the original ILM guys.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he created Adobe Photoshop.
A version of it, yeah.
He created
He's
Photoshop.
Genius,
yeah, him and like his brother did it.
Right,
okay.
right.
But the thing is though, it's kind of like that came up through the studio, which is it's a great indicator to what the state of the union is like in those Star Wars offices.
That's a great success story, correct?
Yeah, which is kind of like someone had it, someone presented it, it moved through the ranks, and it got they put it on track. I think the Han Solo movie is something similar. I think the movie already has a take, and I kind of think it's a little bit of like there's a huge curiosity on what it is, what the tone is, what's it going to feel like, and it's also like a kind of like a ballsy risk. Because like, why would you do we want to see a young Han Solo? That's a big question. That's a really big question. Now, if that was in jeopardy, there's just a side of me that really thinks that these guys like screwed it up for themselves. They kind of like took a shit in their bed and they're sleeping in it.
I just wanted it's funny, like I'm moving positions here. Like the more I think about the way that they had their creative control and how they had to go into a system, I don't know if you can. What did I say?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you put them back in can you put toothpaste back in the bottle? Like I don't know if you can do it.
You can't unring that bell.
Yeah.
I really feel like the Flash was there. It was there. It just feels so right for those guys. You go from Lego Movie to Flash, people are like, "Oh, I see that.
That makes sense.
I see that.
Yeah, it's very logical.
I see that." Like there's like even like the way how they think, like even like the comedy like notes in 21 Jump Street are self-aware and quick at the same time,
right?
Which makes those movies like super unique. And we just saw Baywatch fail at that formula. Like
I watched Baywatch.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I
want to see it.
Messy.
Is it real? I want to see it.
But some of the stuff when it hits pretty good.
But
it's.
I just watched a pretty good Zac Efron movie called "We Are Your Friends," Watch if you kind
Oh, that got super panned. Yeah, I know about that.
I
That's the
don't
one
know.
where he plays the
he's
DJ,
like,
right?
He's like a DJ, but
Yeah.
the thing is though, if you want to know like about that life, like you know, like
Yeah, I don't know.
like why people go to like those raves and and they're like collaborating and making music together. Because that's another not Wes, not Cillian Murphy. Wes from
Wes Bentley.
Wes Bentley is
Yeah.
and
he
you know,
plays like kind of like the mastermind producer.
yeah,
sort of.
he's kind of like the veteran almost. Okay, dude, there's so and look, it has like things that movies have. Like there's a love triangle. There's like a guy struggling. Some of his friends are douchebags holding him back. It's like Magic Mike, Saturday Night Fever. Even going back there, it's that formula. But dude, I was watching this movie and I'm kind of like, you know, like there's so much here I don't know about.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah, that'd be interesting to
I
see
was
that. That
digging
seems
it.
interesting.
I was digging it, and you know what was the best part is when you, like, look,
When he hits that beat drop.
yeah, drop that beat.
Yeah, but I don't know about that. But there is they
Yeah.
talked about I love construction. Oh, we're artists. Like we understand construction.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to know like that. I'm sure they had that illustrated, right? Where he's like, I need to make it. The audience has to hear it because they talk about it in the trailer.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. They have a I never even knew what this movie was, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like interesting, and that's it. But they have like a sequence where they go into like the beats per second.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And
I would love that.
And they go into like the different music genres, and he's narrating, and they're showing you like the dance styles of those beats and those styles, and they say like the EDM is at this like sweet spot. It's like 120 or like 140,
Okay.
and that's what they like. They're almost like mathematical on keeping that ratio while they're producing their music, and they have a way to like elevate the heart rate, like while they're making. And you're almost like, I just thought this was kids taking acid, like getting caked by Steve Aoki. But it was
That's also a thing, by the way. That's actually probably also a thing.
yeah. Well, it is a thing. Yeah. That's like you go to Steve Aoki and you are a god if you get caked by him because he has giant sheet cakes and he throws them into the crowd. It's like the funniest, awesomest thing. Yeah, you get caked. It's called getting caked. Steve Aoki, whose sister is the Asian girl from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, all right. Okay.
She's the fashion
She was
model.
Miho in the second Sin City movie.
Yeah, and she
As an Aoki.
and she is also like a David LaChapelle model. So
okay.
she's been all over like Interview magazine, and I'm almost positive she's retired. And his father, Steve Aoki's father, is Benihana, the guy that created Benihana.
What is this family?
It's incredible.
That's the most incredible family I think I've ever heard.
It's legacy, dude. It's the Trumps. It's the McMahons. It's American legacy. That's what you do in this. That's what you can do in this country. Your children are going to be carrying on Dream Warriors for us.
Oh my gosh.
Or we're going to collaborate and we're going to get your daughters as twin assassins.
Anything can happen. It's
Which
America.
will be and also great legacy. Also, okay. But maybe they'll travel around the country, and the cover of doing Dream Warriors all around the world will be the cover for their spy missions. That'll be their cover. So thank you very much. And I guess I'll delete this when we're done recording.
You can keep it. That's fine.
Keep it safe.
Do it live.
To keep it safe. No. Okay, so what are your predictions with Han Solo?
I don't know. I mean, it's coming, right? It's my birthday next year. I mean, it's coming. It's right after my birthday. All the Star Wars movies.
You
are right after my
realize
birthday.
now with this, like that night when Han Solo comes out, needs to be like a crazy night for us. Like we're already
all nighter.
Yeah, we're building like this giant. Look,
we're already trying to this week. It's going to be different. Like we already have a couple things like lined up that we're going to try to figure out.
Yeah, dude, I want to see Baby Driver. I want to see.
You have to see. You're backed up. You have to see Transformers.
I will see Yeah, well, I'll get Transformers in. But here's the thing. We might do Transformers for YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to. I'm so close to the YouTube stuff. Okay, we're going to have like a big rollout.
I'll do more extensive notes on that then.
But we might be doing something different.
Spectacular disaster, that movie.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
I say they're all spectacular disasters.
This one's the best.
I think they're
the worst.
Yeah. I think they're. I just think they're fantasies, and that's why I like them. They're male fantasies. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think men need a fantasy many military and American flag and
When
butts
I wake up
wiggling
every
in their
day,
faces.
I will say I want to be Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
In a couple,
From
different ways.
Dark of the Moon, right?
No, I want to be
That
Shia
opening
LaBeouf when
in Dark
he's
of the
like
Moon.
when he's against the green screen. That's I want to be that Shia LaBeouf. But just do it. Don't make your dreams your dreams.
Yeah.
What now? I love those. I love that whole clip.
It's true.
It's 40 minutes long. Do you ever watch the whole thing?
I never watched the whole thing.
Oh, watch the
I've
whole
seen
thing. It's
clips of it.
fascinating.
Yes, I love it.
Are we done with Han Solo? That's it. So predictions are, who knows? Like it's Star Wars. Like and I will say this: if Kathleen Kennedy is so singular, and she, Rogue One shouldn't technically work. It did have mistakes. It still made billions of dollars. It still shouldn't have technically was as successful.
A lot of repeat business for Rogue One.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm happy to say
like
that
3-4 weeks as number
Wonder
one.
Woman is interestingly doing the same thing. So this is where I get a little bit of faith in the studio system, where the movie is good, and then it gets good word of mouth, and it keeps going. Like Wonder Woman was number one for 3 weeks in a row, no, 2, and then Cars beat it, but it was still really strong third week numbers.
Yeah, now it's still number 3 now with 25 million. Cars and Wonder Woman. Cars are look here like. I don't know where this weekend stacks up, but Transformers pulled in 70.
That's low. Well, it came out Wednesday.
It's the lowest of the franchise. It's even lower than one. One opened at I think 71.5.
I was there for Optimus Prime time on Tuesday. I had special shirts.
Nice.
Yeah, a girl forgot me tickets when we were there. I had to watch the prologue, unfortunately, twice because they had it in regular.
Nice.
And everyone was freaking out, and they walked out and they're like, "We're supposed to be in real D."
Yeah.
And they give terrible T-shirts. Remember how good my Groot shirt was? Did you see my Groot shirt?
Yeah.
This shirt was awful. The shirt that for the Transformers was shit. Which I was disappointed because I was so excited because the Groot shirt for Guardians was great.
Yeah.
So Regal hit and miss on your shirts, buddy. Of course, I don't know who approves that. I have no idea.
I think they just roll it, man. Yeah, so it did 70, but even now, like Transformers World, it had a huge opening in China, but Transformers worldwide is already at 265.
Okay.
Yeah, but it had a
2
huge
sequels lined up. They have a Bumblebee prequel.
Yeah.
Ready to film soon, I think.
Well, I believe. Well, and real quick too, just to update this on the air, the Mummy worldwide, 342, which is amazing. But domestically, it's at 68, 125
really
budget.
low for that's super low for a cruise movie, bro. That's enough.
But you know what it is? A few movies even break. If you
do a quick take on Maverick. What's your quick take on Maverick? Top Gun Maverick. You love your Tom Cruise.
Well, he's my contention is that people criticize him for playing Tom Cruise, and my counter to that is name one movie that he's Tom Cruise in. He constantly plays an asshole. So
well, Tom Cruise is an asshole.
That's if you read, there's a book called The Game. He shows up in that book. This book is about something else, but it's called The Game. Real life stuff. Happening in Los Angeles. These guys have an encounter in this book with Tom Cruise. The way how Nick Strauss is the guy that wrote it. He's the co-writer of the Jenna Jameson biography, the Anthony Kiedis biography, longtime contributor to Rolling Stone. This guy's got street credit. Mm-hmm. The way how he talks about Tom Cruise, he talks about him as the nicest guy on earth, the ultimate alpha male. He kind of like defined him as. Okay. The thing is though, Tom Cruise consistently plays characters that are a-holes. I don't think he has not played an a-hole in any movie that he's ever been in. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's a weird criticism. It's a criticism that is that just sounds good, but it's completely ungrounded. I mean, you even go to like what's that? The musical one, the rock and roll musical.
Yeah,
one.
I don't remember what it's called.
Like he's an a-hole in that. He's an a-hole in Magnolia. He's
he won an Oscar.
He's still like an a-hole in Born on the 4th of July. He's an a-hole in Rayman.
He's justified a-hole on Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, but he's still like but Lay Samurai, War of the Worlds, Edge of Tomorrow, like. He plays these like dynamic characters that prove themselves throughout the course of the movie. Like even Vanilla Sky. Like Vanilla Sky, he's the ultimate a-hole. But so how's he Tom Cruise? Like, right? Like like he's acting. He is not that.
I just think it's not mapped around. Like I kind of feel this Mummy movie is not a Mummy movie. Like I just don't feel like it is.
No, like look, the Mummy movie has rules. It's got logic. It has they set it up. They tell you what the rules are of like this type of power, and I think there's other problems with that movie that don't involve like him particularly. I think the movie was battling like a little bit of like a just like what the intent was. Like so it seemed like misaligned. But dude, like it has multiple action sequences. They flow together. There was an arc. There's his birth at the end. Like he arrives at the end of that movie as a character that you kind of didn't see coming. So, but I still think as a chapter one. So like, all right. So universe chapter ones, even when they retcon them, okay. Like what it's a elite list. But the thing is, though, the number twos for all of these movies I'm about to name all fell flat. Pirates of the Caribbean, Matrix, okay, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Think about that.
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man, the Hulk, which is kind of funny because the Hulk is more of a universe-building movie than Iron Man, and then Iron Man 2 is the one that introduced.
See, I think the Hulk's problem is I think the problem with the Hulk movie is that it's like. It's still it wasn't exactly a Marvel movie. It was still kind of a Paramount movie. Yeah, but, the director was just going and going.
Yeah,
going.
But the thing is that you have them discussing the Super Soldier Serum. You see Shield. Tony Stark's blueprints are in that movie. The logo Stark Industries are in the title credits. Like the Hulk is more of a universe building movie than Iron Man. Okay, but no one considers it. So now we're to Iron Man 2. Not so great. Like not too even just like universe building, okay, kind of fell flat. I enjoy it. So Man of Steel.
You like it when he pees in his suit when Iron Man pees in
his
suit.
like, dude, watching Iron Man 1 and 2 back to back as just a long like movie where people are figuring this thing out, like people just trying to figure out like where he fits in the world.
Right.
Dude, it's really good. But the second movie has such a crazy high anticipation. You know, like, and that kills so many movies. That anticipation kills so many movies. Transformers as universe building. You know, like, okay, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra as universe building. So, like, this, like, the Mummy, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie does, like, have a rank, like, which is kind of funny because we have, like, two separate scales. We have, like, great number ones, and they've retconned them into trilogies, like Matrix and Pirates. And the number twos for those ones, you know, most people feel like they all suck. They all fell flat, like horribly flat.
Pirates is better than Pirates 3.
I'd like Pirates 3. You know what? I'll tell you what I like about Pirates 3 is by that time you understand like all the characters and you know who they all are and you know what's at stake. So when they start double crossing each other as that movie's like rolling, you're kind of like you're even caught off guard because you don't know like what the true alliances are. And to me, that's pirate. Like that's what pirates do, and it was like, but at the same time,
I'm gonna have to see the new one, by the way. I'd have to see it because
I have to. Yeah,
when my daughter started watching, she caught the first one on Netflix.
Okay, yeah,
and she's 12 and like she loved it, and then she watched the second one. I was like, "What do you think?" And she's like, "I liked it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I'm gonna watch the third one." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Isn't there a new one out?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know what I mean? I'm like,
"There's Stranger Tides, and then there's."
I don't know if I'll even tell her. Like, I don't know if I'll tell her about the
Stranger.
But I don't even know because I didn't see it.
Stranger Tides has mermaids.
And Penelope Cruz, right?
Mermaids, yeah. But it's amazing that woman never got work.
What, Penelope Cruz?
Like, what was her appeal?
What?
She's not crazy hot. You don't understand the thing that she says.
We did this conversation.
Dude, I know. Like, I'm not letting go of this.
I go back to go watch Mother. Watch the Pedro Almodovar movie she's in.
Someone around the corner just slammed their door.
Was that a gunshot? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know, man. I don't know. So you want to wrap it?
Yeah. Let's.
Oh wait, I have to go through my tiny segment of I can recommend things that no one should go see.
Okay.
So my main theme is. So my main theme has been pretty much for every show is that I like to watch stuff that's like pretty much singular created, even if it's not working. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So this week I saw 3 movies.
Like
so
Mainborg.
Like what?
Mainborg.
Well, that worked for like. Well, actually, that kind of does work. So Transformers 5
right?
Yeah.
Cost $217 million, 15% Rotten Tomatoes. Saw it, terrible, right? Then a couple of days later, took my daughter to the movies. We went to go see Dean, which is Dimitri Martin, made a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar to Garden State. His mom dies. You know, those fun comedies when the mom dies, hilarious. So they bury the mom. And then Kevin Kline, an amazing Kevin Kline, like completely redeemed himself from the horrible. I didn't like him in Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast was fucking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's still Kevin Kline in that, but this he played a much better father, much more down to earth. He has to sell the childhood home. He goes to L.A. Dimitri Martin goes to L.A. He keeps drawing stuff. Like he does these little drawings, does the intros. He wrote it, directed it, produced it. Cost $1 million. Got 68 Rotten Tomatoes. I give it like a C, but it's hard to recommend to people because it's not that funny. It's about grief. Like it's kind of it's real
I
tough.
know. It's one of those bummer movies,
And then the other movie I saw was called Band-Aid by
which I'm very curious about.
yeah,
Just based on what you already told me about this.
like the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I'm going to look that up while you're going.
Yeah, so that cost $1 million. So that has has these character actor people you've seen. So this girl Zoe Lister Jones wrote it, directed it, stars in it. She's married to Adam Pally, who was on. He was kind of the fat funny guy on Happy Endings, and Zoe Lister Jones. She's on. What's that show called? Life in Pieces on NBC now. She was in the.
I know her. I've seen her.
She's real sassy.
Yeah.
She's real good. And she wrote, direct, and she played bass in it. And one time they had this fight, and they started like goofing off to one another. So it's a husband and wife, and they got in a fight. And then she's like, "Well, what if we just started singing when we fight? Like let's sing our arguments."
Yeah.
And they found this really fun bond between it. Now I won't spoil anything, but I think, and then their neighbor, who's Fred Armisen, comes over and plays drums.
Oh, okay.
Now they put out an EP called Dirty Dishes, which you can actually get on Spotify. It's actually like a really good EP. It's like 5 or 6 songs.
Cool. Yeah.
And she wrote all the songs. So this is completely film directed, and the pacing isn't so great. That's got an 84% Rotten Tomatoes. That's a limited release. That's playing 3 blocks from here. You can get it on. I got it on Verizon Fios on demand.
Okay.
It's like $7. You can pre-order on iTunes, or just look around for it. It'll probably be more on demand. It just came out. Just came out. So those are 2 movies that it's hard for me to recommend because the fights that they had, like the divorcee fights that they had, like super, like they're in couples therapy and were like really, 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 really hard.
Yeah.
Like really hard. Like I was like, ugh.
So that kind of hit
Not
home.
a good date movie.
Yeah, that was
so
like-
afterwards
yeah.
where it was like, hey, that was what we need. We needed like a palate cleanser. We needed something like to get out
Jameson
of it.
shots.
So something. But
That's why you just travel with alcohol.
I mean,
Whenever you see a movie,
I
you should
just
always
watch-
have
I like
alcohol.
these tiny movies though, like because I like Patterson. I talked about Patterson
Yeah.
before.
Well, real quick, great tiny movie that is like kind of like already kind of like overshot. And I just listened to a podcast with him with Bret Easton Ellis, but the Larry Clark Bully,
I know what you're talking about. I've never
the
seen
follow
it.
up to Kids.
Yeah.
Dude, they were talking about this movie. I've seen the movie probably like 3 or 4 times, but it just reminded me like how strong of a freaking movie, and it's based on a true story too. But there's so much in that movie, and it's like just another one of those ones that's like I think he said they shot that movie in something like 23, 24 days.
Right.
One of the guys in the movie was like, they already knew he was like a drug addict, and they hired him anyway. And he, it's like he's just going on. It's a hell of a podcast, but it's just one of those things where like they were able to do things because the movie was small and
Right,
they came
right,
through. You know,
right.
and that's like if anybody wants to know, like why you pay consideration into movies like that and why you kind of hunt them out. They're small for a reason. It's good that they have a small audience. Because sometimes it's good. You appreciate other things in other movies when you have something that like few people know about and you're connected to and you get close to it. So like, and believe it or not, like when you watch something like Rogue One and you see notes in Rogue One that's maybe from like something else or similar, it heightens both movies and it kind of shows you like what some of the nuances are of filmmaking. And it's always hard to see that in the bigger movies. You see the true nuance, the work, and the progress and the process of filmmaking with smaller films. Like, again, like Taxi Driver, you see it. Mean Streets, you see it. Who's Knocking on My Door, you see it. Do you see Martin Scorsese's The Departed and Aviator? You do not.
So clean.
Yeah.
It's the cleanest film.
Like, but you see it in these like smaller attempted shots. It go like again like more Steven Spielberg in Close Encounters than you would ever see in possibly Jurassic Park. But you watch Jurassic Park and you're like, well, there's like notes on like children and parents and fatherhood in Close Encounters that you kind of relate to. Eventually, when you see like Jurassic Park, you kind
there's
of
stuff.
see
The father son stuff
over.
in Jaws is like nuts.
Yeah,
so good.
yeah, that's good too. Yeah, but no. What else you got?
Well,
Sorry.
the text. Yeah, I mean, I'll end the segment with basically next week will be kind of an interesting take because it's going to get a little bigger, but the Big Six coming out. So that's the Camille and Johnny. So this is exactly the type of movie that's perfect. That's like my movie, perfect. So basically, again, super hilarious concept. He starts dating a girl who gets very sick, goes into a coma, and there's a true story based on his real life. And then he has to kind of bond with his parents, and the mother is played by Holly Hunter. So Emily's mother. So Camille Nanjiani, who is on, he's the Indian guy he's been on Portlandia. He's on Silicon Valley on HBO.
Oh, okay. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay.
So everyone knows him. You might have seen a little bit of a stand-up. Very, very funny guy. I've mainly listened to him. He's on like lots of podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
But it's a true story. He wrote it with his now wife, but she was in a coma, and he still showed up, and it was about like them getting together, and his parents wanted to do an arranged marriage, and the father tries to have a conversation with him about 9/11.
Right.
But it's Ray Romano, so it's a pretty big budget. Judd Apatow is producing it. So this could be the next train wreck, or it could just kind of float and not go.
He was just talking about it on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, okay. Apatow or Nanjiani?
Judge Apatow.
Okay.
So and Judge Apatow is such a political loon, okay, that the entire conversation he had with Joe Rogan was not. They touched on like the comedies because he has a Netflix special coming out, Judge Apatow, like a stand-up, okay, and he's been it took him 2 years to get back into stand-up.
He's a known pretty much failed stand-up. He's talked about that.
Yeah. So it took him all this time. I think Amy Schumer, they were making an Amy Schumer movie. He saw her running around on tour. That kind of inspired him. That stuff was really interesting. Him talking about the comedy scene in LA. And then it goes into politics, and that I'm like, I gotta stop. Yeah, I'm just done here because you know what it is too. He's such a loon that he would say things, and Joe Rogan, would kind of and Joe Rogan leans more libertarian. He's not Republican. He's not Democrat. He's more libertarian, and it's kind of he would just say things kind of facts, and Apatow just had would just be shut down. But they were conversational facts. They weren't confrontational. But I do want to. That movie seemed very the Big Sick. It's a great premise, and it's a true story.
Yeah, and supposedly there's so I listened to we're gonna plug another film. We're gonna plug another podcast, but there's a very good podcast called Film. I know all we're doing is talking about other podcasts to listen to.
No.
But we get good information on it. So
but here, real quick. I want people to know. I want everyone to know we listen. We
consume.
Yeah, we consume because that's the only way you learn how to I want people to know we're students. Okay, because I think people listening are also students. I think it carries over. But continue. Sorry about that.
No, and that's correct. Basically, when I listened to because I wondered. I thought the other day, are we ever going to interview? I wonder if we would ever interview someone. That's very interesting to me. And what kind of questions would we come up with? I think it'd be really interesting.
It's that is 100% in the pipeline.
Yeah.
There's been couple of things that have already floated around for that. No, it's 100% of reality. It's something that's going to happen. But at the same time, I feel the show needs to be at a certain level.
For sure.
There's I think there's other I think everyone rushes to the interview and they think that's it. And I'm it's fucking even when I do my solo shows, it's tough sitting down and talking for 1 hour. That's a muscle you have to grow in your brain. I think there's a process we're engaged in. We have to which is why I freak out at Norm when he stops recording. I just flip out because I'm you're not working those muscles. And he's sparse between. It's different when I do episodes with the other Marc, because the other Marc is a straight up audience member, and I like to document his take on things.
Right. That's why I expose my kids to something. I'm like, what do you think about that? How do you respond to this? You know what I mean?
You know what I did on Father's Day?
To this.
And this is probably like a terrible parenting thing to say.
Yeah.
So, but we watched Shaun of the Dead because Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies.
Okay, yeah.
Now, that's probably not the best 12-year-old daughter thing to watch
probably,
with,
yeah,
but like at
kinda.
the same point, it's such a good movie. Like, and I'm trying to gear up for Baby Driver. So
yeah.
like that's the whole thing.
So do you think he's overrated? Like, right?
No, I think I don't. You know what? I don't know what the perception is. All I know is that they're amazingly watchable at any time of the day.
Yeah.
I can watch Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim versus the World back to back to back. World's End's a little bit different for me.
I like
Hot Fuzz. I don't really like.
Well,
I don't care.
Hot Fuzz is fine until the end, but at the end of the movie, they do like their point, which is like this is gonna be a ridiculous like shoot. It's like shoot 'em up.
I felt like that. Yeah, they push. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little too on the nose. Whereas I think that the emotions, like once I watched, you ever speaking of, like we talk about film dissection
Yeah.
and different things we watch Red Letter Mirror. There's a show called just look up Movies with Mikey, The World's End, and there's a guy who does like film theory. All of his videos are 11 to 15 to 17 to 18 minutes. But watch his one about The World's End. It makes you watch the movie completely differently. The way that it's shot, the way that it's built, the way that there's different character portrayals, and what they're really talking about. And I don't think it completely succeeds, but again, it's such an effort. Like I think World's End is so fantastic with the characters, and I think Nick Frost, like, is so good in that. Like he's so subtly good in that.
Yeah. No, it's look. So the part of me that thinks like for some reason there was like this really insane like adulation for Edgar Wright. Like and there's like I get it, like Shaun of the Dead and kind of like did stamp that for him, like you know, but and it's just kind of like all right, like.
Well, I think it was that, and then it was like, hey, he did this thing called Spaced, and then you can watch Space, and they're like kind of fun and creative, and he's like, he's one of us.
Yeah.
He's like because he shot a guy who's in a comic book shop, like he was like he's one of us.
Yeah, and Scott Pilgrim too adds to that like credibility. Right?
See, Scott Pilgrim for me, like I think it's more about rhythm, and I think it's more about like he started to get, and this is where I think Baby Driver could totally perfect it, is the way he's like integrating music in.
Yeah.
And he does it in World's End because, you know, the fights are choreographed
I was even like
the bathroom fight is unreal.
But even when you said Shaun of the Dead and you said like your daughters may not be into it, but I almost said there that
a lot of Prince references.
But it's got I was gonna say like it's got like it's technically like the references of that make it like a music movie. Like you kind of have because look, I get like you may not know all the songs in movies. But it's so much different when you do know the songs in movies and you know when they hit. And you have the entire song in your head, even though you might be getting like a clip of a song. It has like a real effect on the viewer. It captures...
I think the Guardians, the reason why Guardians is successful is because it's a different backdrop with something with things that we already know.
Yeah.
Like it does something else to your brain. It gives you like this new nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
And so Force Awakens does the same thing because it does... And I even talked about Rogue One's score because Rogue One's score wasn't allowed to go all the way Star Wars, so they didn't. And to me, I felt like that was missing.
Yeah.
Because you can't have Darth Vader on screen without, like, just do it, man.
Well, yeah.
Just pump up that theme, man. We know who he is.
And John Williams was so... I think Force Awakens is his second best effort, like, for Star Wars movies. Okay?
I think it's great.
Okay?
I think it's great.
Because he has notes that are similar to, like, other things we've seen in Star Wars. Like, I love the Rey theme. Like when she's like sliding down. Oh man, dude, that's so freaking like.
It's gorgeous, beautiful.
Yeah, it's just like it's a professional. Like this dude's a pro.
He's like 80 years old. He's sharp as a tax apparently. He's amazingly sharp.
I don't understand why he doesn't blow up the Academy of Natural Sciences and Film, whatever. Because I don't know how he can. Like I think he's been nominated twice in the same year, like 5 or 6 times.
He hasn't won ever.
Well, the last time he won might have been for like I want to say maybe like Raiders or not Raiders. Dude, he won in like the last time he won was like the 80s. But the dude's been nominated like 50 times. Like what?
I'm looking up to
the F? Yeah, like
I'll look up to say.
Yeah, hold up here.
Schindler's List. I think that's his last winner.
Which that is a
94.
94.
Yep, that's right.
Which is a hell of a theme too. That's a good theme.
Yeah,
Oh, so all right. So movies with Mikey. That breaks film theory. The podcast I was referring to was Film Spotting This Week, which is a Chicago based film. I think that's 400 or more episodes. Long time, those guys. Every Friday. But they interview Camille Nanjiani, and Camille talks about how the story broke. And the way that Judd Apatow specifically told him how to break story. He's like, okay, write your script, write it. You write it all the way through, and then read it, and then Emily reads it, and then you guys talk about what scenes should work, and then you break it apart, and then you take the notes, and then you take index cards of what scenes work, and you put them on a table, and he goes into it, and he talks, like, I'd say maybe like 25 minutes about process, and I'm like, oh man, like I love process. Like I was like, this is, but that's the art. That's like why that's why we consume. Like it's like, oh my god, that's every book behind you.
Yeah.
Every book behind you right now is art. It's either art or some type of structure, or it's a story. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff.
The rise and fall of the Third Reich too.
That's
over there. Yeah, because we don't like to repeat evil in this place. We like to learn about evil and prevent it. But
I was going for more like dynamic anatomy, but that's fine.
Hey, that's Bern Hogarth, mother effer.
I know.
If you don't know that book by heart,
that's an early book, man.
Don't draw if you don't know that book by heart. That's the only anatomy book you need. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll say it. That's still the same copy I stole at Deptford Mall when I was maybe like 12 or 13 years old. Not Borders, Walden Books.
Walden Books, that's right.
Walden Books.
That was an early.
Yeah, that was like
smash and grab.
Like a zoink. That's why we did. Like we would go to the mall. Like my friends would steal clothes, and I would steal like movies and books.
I think what I used to do is I used to buy like one magazine and then go in with the bag.
Oh.
And then just put the stuff in the Walden Books bag.
You know what we did? We would this is before like Suncoast got all the metal like tags. What we would do is I remember devising this with my friend. We would get shoe boxes, and we would get bags big enough for shoe boxes, like from the mall, and we would I would cut a slip.
Wow.
Like a door in the shoebox, and we would just go into Suncoast and just throw movies into the shoeboxes.
Oh my gosh!
And leave. And
was this DVD days, or this was like
VHS?
VHS days.
VHS. Yeah, that's how even then, like how into movies and a lot of it too was like early anime, like because it was so like new and and the tapes were like 40, 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah,
they were so much money, and we just stole them.
Yeah,
I stole them because like my friends
Vampire
like
Hunter D and
no now you're Vampire Hunter D, Wicked City, which is still one of my favorite.
Like a Fist of the North Star,
Outlander, Fist of the North Star, major influence. Like that's why like when Fury Road came out, I'm like I've absorbed enough Fist of the North Star.
Right.
Like
I'm good. Akira was the one. Then they had the Akira Project, or they had like that other thing which was
well there was that, but you're reminding me of Project AKO.
Yeah,
that was huge. Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah, and then they had Golgo 13.
Yeah,
that started to come.
Dude, Bubblegum Crisis. I remember seeing footage of that bootleg of a guy just getting like this dude in like an exoskeleton, like cop exoskeleton, just getting blown apart and like blood kind of like coming out, and dude just being so blown away by it. Like I had to like see it. Like I was so interested.
Well, there was no
what that was.
There wasn't any. So what did we go from? We go from Bugs Bunny to like we didn't think that cartoons could do anything like that. What do you think that did?
Well, we created that. So here's the thing. So we go like we'll just say like
this. Fire and Ice. You had your Fire and Ice here.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just say like early Disney, Warner Brother Animation, blah 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 blah, and then what happens is like the late 70s emerge, and we get like heavy metal. Then we get that goes into Fire and Ice, American Pop, Hey Good Looking, Heavy Traffic,
Fritz the Cat,
Rock and Roll, Fritz the Cat,
right?
Forbidden Planet, which was kind of like foreign, but still kind of like rolls in. Star Chasers, which is long forgotten. Okay, Lensman. Now we're getting into like American, Japanese American release. So Lensman is the Green Lantern Corps by Doc E. Smith. That's what they stole, or like whatever. Everyone borrowed. Like I don't care.
Right.
Okay.
That was the sixth. That was Hal Jordan Space.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's Golden Age Green Lantern, but they threw that out essentially.
Which kind of like when the John J. Straczynski fantastic Supreme Power.
Yeah, I
The
agree with that.
initial run of that,
Right.
like balls out initial run. The Spectre in that, or the Spectrum, which was like Lensman, Green Lantern, we're merging the two. It was like the funniest thing. Like,
Right.
and Gary Frank had like a couple covers where the guy's like this with the, and I'm like, that's Lensman, but it's also Green Lantern. But no. And then what happened was like Lensman CGI, some computer graphics in that, and then you had the one that kicked down the door, which was Akira.
Right.
And that was still the greatest. By
That
far.
was that's my favorite. Like that soundtrack's nuts.
Dude, that's
amazing.
And you know what? There's like updates on that soundtrack, like the placement in that. But it's same way with I am with like with the Blade Runner black cover. There's the initial release for Akira that I love, and that's it. Like that's what I want
The
to
English
watch.
dub.
Yeah.
The, Hey guys, like
Yeah,
you gotta do
it's
the,
a little bit higher
Yeah.
than the shoulder points. I get it. Like, you know, like they redubbed it. They did that. One of the first steel books ever was the Akira
Yeah, I have
DVD
it.
release.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they didn't give you the option to have the original audio,
right.
which I thought was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because I mean, but there's just certain beats that you knew, and then like when he goes up, he's like Tetsuo. He doesn't say that. He's like, hey Tetsuo. Like he says a couple extra words, and you're like, no, this is the part where he goes up on the mountain and he yells at him, and it's not there.
But yeah. Let's sign this off. Another
It was a good little run. A little good.
nice.
I didn't know you knew that many little animes right in a row.
You don't
That was chronological. I'm pretty sure that was pretty close.
not even that. Even early American Ralph Bakshi
Yeah,
animation.
that's right. You went all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot the one and only Wizards with Necron 99, which my friend the other day called Deadpool. He called the Deadpool looking guy because he saw a picture of like Wizards and he said, that guy, the Deadpool guy on the weird like tauntaun thing, and because he's looking at the cover and I'm like,
Right.
oh my god, that's Necron 99.
It's just
that's
the way
peace.
backwards.
That's peace, man. Like, you know, get your shit together.
Yeah, but that's happening
peace.
that's the one trailer for Baby Driver. They're like, we told you to get Halloween
Oh,
masks.
yeah,
And he's like, he's like Mike Myers. He's like, I did get Mike Myers. Like Halloween masks. He's like, these are Halloween masks. So it's just a cultural generational gap, you know. So
and real quick too, like again, like to further, just real quick side note to analyze what happened with anime. Like, why did it go away? Japan hits one of the longest recession in world history for a semi-capitalistic, and the economy doesn't have the money to produce for experimentation. It's just, the money's not there, the absorption's not there, and they kind of lost because they're not like freedom based, they're not liberty based, they're not capitalistic, and because they don't have those true values, it washed away. It got away. You know, when they were following Ronald Reagan, because Reagan set like a tone for like these other countries, when they duplicated Reagan's tone, they had a windfall of money, and that led into the enough money to experiment with animation and for industry to pop up because people could absorb it. Now that money's gone because the tone's gone. They don't like some people get lost. It's not easy, like kind of being like imperialistic and then having like notes of America. It's a very delicate balance, you know. Like and that's kind of like what happened, and that's where like post '90s, it was like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, everything else is gone. Like it just went away. Netflix is the only one like making an effort to bring some of it back. But dude, that shit had fire back then. They'll never have that fire again. It's never going to come back the way it did, and it just sucks because even like Outlander, which is completely obscure, bad, like 80-minute animation, but it's way better than things being done today.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but and Outlander 2 was also a Dark Horse comic book release adaptation. But anyway, if you care. All right, signing off now.
all right,
Let's go.
road to 50.
We're done. Cool. All right. Good stuff, Mark.